Happy Sunday. This is my next video blog. This is Wilfredo Potato. He is a good cat. um, so this weekend we had a nice time. We had some friends come over yesterday. We hung out. We put up our tree. Um, this is not a Christmas tree, although it definitely looks a bit like a Christmas tree. um, This is actually what I want to talk about today on my video blog because it's what I was thinking about this morning. I don't celebrate Christmas. I'm not a Christian. Christmas is a Christian holiday, and I just kind of have some baggage associated with Christmas and Christianity and stuff like that. Blech, it's boring. Um, and so a couple of years ago, I was feeling like very stressed, very anxious, trying to figure out how to incorporate parts of Christmas because like there's certain elements like I like the vibe and I like some of the decorations and I like that they play big band music, although I do get a little tired of Christmas music itself. But I also get really frustrated that Christmas kind of takes over literally everything. Like you can't go anywhere. And at this particular point in my life, I was really struggling with feeling like literal triggers when I was encountering Christianity in just random places where I didn't expect it. And Christmas is like Christianity is literally everywhere. And it was like really frustrating. And so I looked into other holidays because I was like, well, maybe there's another holiday during December that I could celebrate. But I felt weird just like, oh, I'm gonna celebrate Hanukkah. It felt appropriative. I don't know if that's a word. Or like Kwanzaa, like, there's like a bunch of other holidays in December, but none of them are mine. They're not associated with any traditions that I grew up with or that are associated with my general identity as a human being. And so it just felt very weird to just kind of be like, well, if I don't celebrate Christmas, I'm going to go pick this other random holiday and make it mine. And so my wonderful spouse, Josh, one day was like, well, you're a writer. You could just invent a holiday, one that is meant for you. And I was like, that's a great idea. December is full of holidays. What's one more? And so this is my Deidre Day tree. Deidre Day is the holiday that I invented. Um, Deidre was my late mentor, and she died in 2019, and it was very surprising. It was unexpected. She was older, she was probably 70. I actually don't know her exact age, but it wasn't like she was sick or anything. She was here one day and she was gone the next, and it was heartbreaking for me. She was one of my best friends, and she was like particularly influential in my life. She was probably the first time the first person I felt like I experienced receiving unconditional love from as an adult human being. And she was just a very, very important person in my life. And I struggled a long time. 2019 was like a really, really shitty year. Um, Josh's grandmother had died at the end of 2018, and then Deidre died, and then my cat died. She was 15. Um, and then there was just like a string of other people, including, my grandmother, and my great aunt, and one of my clients. The first time I had a client die, my writing clients. And so I really struggled, and I had started I just didn't have time to grieve, right? Because it was just like one thing after the next. And grief isn't simple. Like it's not like you take a week off from work and then everything's better, right? Like it's complicated, and the closer and more connected you are to a person, the harder it is. Like you don't just move on. And so it just felt like I had all of this sort of like emotional layers that were just like overwhelming. And so um Deidre was the first, but she was probably also the one that was the most deep and traumatic for me in terms of the loss. Like, yeah, I lost my grandmother, but she had Alzheimer's, um, and she was very old, and it was expected, right? Like, I had a lot of time to process what was coming. It wasn't easy, don't get me wrong, but it was different. It's just different. Anyway, so for everybody else, I had found other ways. I did art. I did a lot of drawings of different people and things like that. But for Deidre, I just couldn't. I just couldn't. And so I think it was 2020. What year is it? I think it was 2021 when I initially had this idea of doing a Deidre Day thing, right? And I didn't know what it was going to look like at first because I came up with it in November, when I was standing in Home Depot, basically crying, right? Because I was looking at these beautiful artificial trees. They were like all gorgeous. And I was just like, I really want a tree. But I was so confused in my head because I was like, I don't celebrate Christmas. So, like, how can these two opposite things be true? Like, how can I feel so much anxiety and like anger and frustration surrounding Christmas as a whole, but want this thing so badly? And I was basically crying in Home Depot. It was very awkward. I was like, and Josh was gone. I don't know where he was, probably a business trip, because that's usually where he is when he's not here. Um, and so I called him and he was like, just buy the tree. Just buy the tree. He was like, you can always return the tree. Just if you want it for whatever reason, even if you don't understand what the reason is, if you want it so much that you're crying in Home Depot, just buy the damn tree. So I bought the tree and I took it home and I stared at it in the box. I did not open it. And eventually later Josh called me again and we talked about it and we talked about it and he was like, you need to come up with your own holiday. He's like, that's the only solution I can see here. And I was like, why didn't I think of that? And he was like, that's why you married me, to have the ideas that you don't have. So the next part of the process was figuring out what my holiday was going to be. And didn't take me very long. I kind of had this feeling like I knew, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then I just like woke up like 2 days later and I was like, Deidre Day. I haven't done anything. I'm still grieving her loss. It's been 2 years. I don't know how to grieve. I don't know how to move forward or how to move on from this. Every year, around the time of her birthday, around the time of her death, around literally every holiday, because she loved holidays, I get so sad and I think of her. And so I was like, this is the perfect way to celebrate the season. It's a perfect way to honor her. And it's the perfect way to do something during December that's meaningful to me personally. And that's going to give me all of the things I want. It's going to allow me to celebrate when everybody else is celebrating without celebrating a holiday that causes me grief and anxiety and pain, um that I don't associate with, right? Like, I'm not Christian, so like the whole meaning or the, what do they call it? Oh, the reason for the season, it doesn't mean anything to me because it's not something that it doesn't make yeah. Anyway, so Deidre Day. So I want to talk a little bit about, oh, I forgot I grabbed this before I sat down, which is a picture of Deidre. She's she's a nice lady. And I want to talk a little bit about what Deidre Day is. I sort of this has evolved a little, like this is only my third year celebrating. But I wanted it to be something that anybody could celebrate, regardless of religion, regardless of where you come from, regardless of, you know, what things are important to you or not important to you. And so the fundamental core of Deidre Day is kindness, and that is it. It's about finding a way to be kind to other people, and that could be as simple as donating to a nonprofit organization that does kind things. It could be more complex, like going out of your way to do kind things for the people around you. And it might be like super complicated, like changing part of your lifestyle, maybe changing habits that you know are harmful to yourself or to others. It is just looking at the concept of kindness and saying, how can I, put more kindness out into the world? Um, Deidre Day can be celebrated whenever. So I don't really I just kind of think of Christmas the 25th as like a day off or like whatever, because it's a day off in the whole world. But we had our Deidre Day celebration with our friends, kind of, sort of, yesterday. They came over and we had some presents and stuff, and it was like really nice. We had some food and some chips, and we watched some Doctor Who, because you can't have Deidre Day without Doctor Who. I'm kidding. You can, but Doctor Who could be a part if you wanted it to be of your Deidre Day. Um, I always try to give at least one blanket for Deidre Day. Deidre gave me so many blankets as gifts, and she just, I mean, it's a great gift. Like, you can't really go wrong with a blanket. Even if it's a blanket somebody doesn't like very much, it's a useful thing. It's something that easily donatable. It's something, that you can stick in a basket or a drawer and pull out if you have guests and somebody's cold. It's something that's very regiftable. Um, no, if you give a gift for Deidre Day, you cannot be offended if someone decides to regift it, because the whole point is to give something to someone as an act of kindness. And uh not necessarily, it's not a transaction, right? It's not like, here, I'm giving you this thing and you must keep it or else, because it's like, I'm giving you this thing, I think you'll like it, but I trust you to choose the best thing to do with this item. And that might mean keeping it, it might mean giving it to a friend, it might mean donating it to a nonprofit, it might mean doing whatever. You trust that person to make the choice about what the best thing to do with that item is. So blankets, I haven't really gotten into this yet, but Deidre also loved like themed dishes, and so I've been trying to figure out. It's tough because dishes nowadays are really themed for holidays, right? In most cases, like their Christmas dishes or their Easter dishes or whatever. So I'd like to find some other themes of dishes to kind of give people. So far, I've come up with dog and cat themed things. I bought myself a cat mug. I don't know where I put it, but I don't have that either. I bought Josh a dog blanket, so I kind of got both, but oh wait, a blanket's not a dish. Anyway, the colors for Deidre Day, very important, are um black, silver, and green. So it sort of works with Christmas. But it's just a little different, right? There's tons and tons of decor out there that's black, silver, and green. I also like to throw in a little bit of gold personally, and because there's so much Christmas stuff, you can see I do have a little bit of red. And the first, it's up here out of the picture. The first, oh, there it is. The first ornament, that round one, Deidre ever gave me was red. So, you can't really go wrong with red. But if you want to stay away from Christmas colors, green and black and silver, great color combination, and it doesn't really scream Christmas if there's no red. So that's Deidre Day in a nutshell. You can give gifts if you want. You don't have to give gifts if you don't want. You can see we have a lot of polar bears. That's because we have two giant Great Pyrenees, so they're basically polar bears. So yeah, Deidre Day. I miss her a lot, and so I always do a little, she gave me this it's cute. It's like a little candle in a piece of wood and a match, and it says New Hampshire Nightlight because she is from New Hampshire. And so every year, at least once, I light the little candle, and I have some memories because I miss her. And you know it's hard to live life without people who are really important to you. And that's one thing I think that's pretty common across the human experience. It's hard to lose people, and it's hard to keep going without them. And so we have to find ways to incorporate our memories into our life, and figure out ways to honor them, but also honor our love for them, because shrug, you can finish my sentence. Anyway, so Deidre Day is my new celebration. It involves lots of blankets. It involves hanging out with friends. It involves trying to find ways to be kind, to show kindness. And if you want to celebrate Deidre, you're welcome to. Or Deidre Day, you're welcome to. And if you do, let me know because I'd love to hear it. Um, so far it's just us and a couple of our friends who have done some Deidre Day stuff, but um, I miss her, and I will continue to celebrate this for the rest of my life. So happy Deidre Day, everyone.